Hey guys and girls, my name is Alan and welcome to today's video. So first off, apologies, this is meant to go up on Saturday. I mean, obviously that's what I normally do, Saturday Uncharted 4 gameplay commentary, but missed it because I was sort of busy towards the end of the week and things just got a little bit out of hand and I just completely messed up my schedule, and so I didn't manage to get a video up. I was going to post it on Sunday, the day that I'm recording, but then it's kind of late in the night now, so I don't think there's any point posting it because a lot of people are going to be getting ready for bed and all the rest of it, so I figure I might as well just leave it till today, which is Monday. So hopefully your Monday's going well so far. Hopefully you all had a good weekend, and obviously now we're just back to the grind, right? Start of the week and everything. So this coming week I do have a few Fortnite videos that I'm planning to post. I hit a milestone last week, which is kind of cool. I'm looking forward to talking about that and sharing that particular piece of gameplay, so stay tuned for that. At the moment there is an event on in Black Ops 4. I don't know if you've heard about it yet, but basically they're currently giving everyone the opportunity to try the blackout mode for free, which is their version of Battle Royale. So if you're on, well, I think it's pretty much every platform as far as I know, so you just need to download it from your respective store, and you should be able to play it for free. I don't know how long it lasts for. I think it's just over a week or something. It did start last week, I think. I'm tempted to say Thursday, Friday, so it might only be on for a few more days. So if you're interested in it and haven't yet bought Black Ops 4, then you can give it a whirl. I have actually got Black Ops 4, I just haven't got around to play with it yet because it's an all multiplayer game and I don't have PlayStation Plus. I am planning to buy Plus soon. I think there is actually an off run for PlayStation Plus in the store right now, so if your subscription has run out and you're interested in continuing to play multiplayer games, then I believe you can renew it for less than £40 in the UK. I don't know how much it works out in terms of US dollars and euros, but I assume there's a sale on for everyone. It's not just going to be for the UK, so now's a good time to renew if your subscription is up. Obviously you can't do it if your subscription is still going, unfortunately. Right, so in last week's video I sort of talked about the things that I was looking forward to trying out this year, moving on into 2019, and a lot of it involves playing, well, hopefully playing games that I've not yet played, but one or two things that I'm going to be doing is playing through some old games again. So I did mention that last week I will be starting Uncharted 3. I've already played it, I've already played it on the PS3, but I will be doing it on the PS4 because it's a remastered version, and I'll be posting that to my gameplay channel. That, by the way, is linked in the description below if you do want to check it out. I would have some gameplays on there. Going forward into the future distant, this is, I don't know, I have no idea when this is going to be, but The Last of Us 2 is coming out sometime. It's not going to be anytime soon, which is good because I'm planning to play through The Last of Us again. I've already posted a version to my player channel, so I won't be doing that again, but I'm planning to play through it on the highest difficulty and then platting it as well. Just to go through the story again because it was a really good story, and obviously just prepare myself for the sequel. There's a few other games that I want to play as well. I think I talked about it already. Division, I want to play that before the Division 2 comes out, but I need to find a group of people to play that with. So that's going to be a little bit trickier, whereas obviously single player games, Uncharted, The Last of Us, they're going to be easy enough to do by myself. It's mad, but like this gameplay that you're watching, by the way, I haven't actually talked about it, it's legacy footage, and it's taken from nearly it's like 2.5 years old now, this footage, because it was taken near the start of when Uncharted 4 first released. So this is really early piece of gameplay here, and it's mad because I still have seriously, I can't even begin to tell you how much footage I've got for Uncharted 4. Like I literally have hundreds of matches, and it's, I don't know, I'm probably never ever going to post it all. I mean, especially if I do one a week, which is the current rate that I'm doing, it's never going to get all posted, but it's crazy how much footage I have of it. And this is my problem. I record so many gameplays and I don't sort them out until obviously months or years later, and it just exacerbates the situation because if I just sorted it out at the time, you know, I could have highlighted them, I could have just deleted all the bad gameplays, but now I need to basically watch through all of them and decide if I want to keep them or highlight them, whatever, and it just makes the situation so much worse because I don't remember what happened in those games all those years ago. And this is where I think when I'm streaming Twitch, it's a lot better because I can make a note of something that needs to be highlighted without having to go through the entire gameplay again, but also it puts a bit of a time constraint on it because Twitch only keeps my footage for like 2 weeks or something like that. So if I don't do it within 2 weeks, that footage is gone basically, and I suppose if I haven't already done it, then it's too late, it's already gone. It does mean that obviously once it's been deleted, there's nothing more I can do about it, so I just move on to the next, you know, Twitch stream or whatever. And so I guess, I mean, obviously it just means that I have to concentrate on doing it there and then. The thing that I've struggled with over the years and still struggle with to this day is getting footage out like on time, and some of the big YouTubers and streamers, they have editors and people to watch through gameplays and make notes of, you know, highlights that need to be cut and posted to Twitter, and montages that can be made, and then obviously when it comes to actually, you know, editing a video and getting one posted, a lot of that is done for them. I really envy these people because they can just concentrate on playing the game. Like, I would love to be able to have someone to do that for me. Obviously these people have a big following and they're really popular and really successful, which is why they can afford to hire these people to do it for them. And I think that is obviously the end goal, right? I'd love to be in that sort of situation going forward, but that's going to be years in the making. If I ever get to that point. I'm pretty realistic. I'm not dreaming or anything. Like, I know that YouTube and Twitch aren't going to pay the bills for me, because I'm probably never going to be able to be that popular or get to that sort of level, because I don't know, for whatever reason. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I mean, things happen, right? But I just don't think at the moment there's a game that I'm properly into or really good at that I could really promote. And it kind of makes me a little bit sad, because a few years ago I would have been playing things like Uncharted, and I could have streamed that, but back then it just wasn't the right time. I just didn't have the right internet, and I didn't have the equipment and all the rest of it, so I couldn't do it. A few more years before that, I was playing the older Uncharted games on the PS3, and I played so much co-op, and I was, not to be big-headed, but I was pretty damn good at those games. And I mean, those sort of games are popular, but not as popular as obviously Call of Duty, Fortnite. And so even if I'd have got a following, it wouldn't have been on the same sort of scale. However, it would have been a starting point. Now, a lot of streamers started on a different game and then went on to a different game, and then they eventually found a game that was right for them, and they became popular and famous and blah blah blah. And so I suppose I'm just waiting for that game. I mean, again, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'd love for it to happen one day. I just, realistically, I don't think it will, because I don't know. I mean, I'm good at what I do, but I'm not great at it, you know. And again, I don't know. I mean, things happen, so you never say never. If you don't at least try, you'll never succeed. So I'll give it a crack, and I'll see how it goes for the next couple of years. But I'm fairly positive that I don't think I'm ever going to get to the point where I can live just off YouTube and Twitch streaming. And I don't know if I want to do that, because I mean, as much as it sucks having a normal job, well, I mean, I guess it depends on what job you've got, and I suppose the other ideal is that I find a job that I really enjoy doing, and I can just do this as a hobby, and a hobby that maybe contributes towards the bills would be ideal, but whatever. So, I don't know, there's a lot of things going on right now. I'll just keep plugging on, and we'll see what happens. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm not gonna, as I said, it's not something that I'm expecting to happen, so it's not the end of the world if it doesn't happen, but it'll just be nice. As I said, if you don't try, you don't get, so just gotta keep at it. Right, so I was gonna pick up the US story recap trip in today's video, but I don't think I'm gonna have too much time to do that now, and I don't really want to do it with just like a couple of minutes to go. I know it's been a long time actually. I went on this trip in September, came back in October. I was off the grid for like a month in November. I started making videos and streaming again come the end of November, start of December. So I've left it really long time to really pick up that story. But it's still a story that I want to tell, because I think it's nice. Just to recap. But again, this is the problem. You see, I'm gonna struggle now to remember the finer details. But I did make notes on my phone while I was over there, because I knew I wanted to talk about this trip when I came back. So I do have notes to recall from. I guess it just means that I talk about the main points rather than the smaller bits, which may or may not have been important to the overall recapping of the trip. Right, so as I said, there's not enough time for me to pick up the US story. I will for sure be talking about that next Uncharted video that I do, probably at the weekend. I don't think I'm going to post another one during the course of this week, because as I said, I've got a lot of Fortnite footage that I want to get out this week as soon as possible. So I'm just going to round off with a little story that I don't think I've told yet. Basically, last year, before I went on my US trip, a friend of mine was leaving work because he'd found himself a better job. So we had a bit of a leaving do. We went to do something fun, and then we went for a meal. Now, the thing that we went to do was an escape room. And I don't know if you've ever done an escape room yourself at all, but this was my first ever time. I'd seen it on TV, and I've seen like in TV shows people going and do them. So I sort of understood the premise a little bit. A big group of us went, and the price of the room itself was charged per person. Which, I mean, okay, it's not a secret. I've talked about it in several videos in the past, but I'm pretty price conscious. Like, I understand the value of stuff, and I judge things on the value as I see them. And I think if you're going as a small group, so like 1 or 2, 3 people, then the price that they charge is probably justified, because the setup is going to be required regardless of how many people go. But when you consider how many of us went, and by the way, we had to split into 2 teams because there were that many of us. Unfortunately, they had 2 of the same rooms, so we were able to both do it at the same time and sort of had a bit of a race. But as I said, given how many of us went, they sort of still charged a pretty high price, and I feel like it wasn't justified at that point. There should have been a bigger discount considering how many of us were there, and obviously the room doesn't really change with how many people are there. If anything, the puzzles are going to be easier to solve because there are so many people, so therefore less value, if you know what I mean. But I suppose it was an experience, it was fun. Before we actually started the challenge, they gave us a little bit of a briefing, and they were like, look, there's cameras in every room, there's microphones in every room, and we can hear and see everything that you're doing. So if you get really, really stuck, you can ask for a clue, or if there's an emergency, obviously they know something's going wrong. So they led us into the rooms, all the lights were off and stuff like that. They just led right to the back and they locked us into this one room. And it was basically a series of small rooms that you had to escape. And the first room, we spent a lot of time just faffing about. It was actually really easy to escape in the end. And then in the next room, there was a puzzle, a small puzzle to get out. And then the third room was a little bit bigger. There were a few more puzzles. And then from that room, there were other branching rooms. And there was a time limit, so you've only had an hour to get this stuff done. And I think most of the puzzles were fairly standard. Some of them involved trial and error, some of them you could sort of figure out straight away, and other puzzles had to be done in sequence, so you couldn't skip a step to get to the end goal. For the most part, we did it quite well. Our team worked well together and it was pretty smooth. And I mean, I come from a gaming background, so communicating with the team and offering, you know, advice, leadership, whatever, that sort of just came naturally to me. And I don't want to say I took over as a leader in that group, but I was, you know, giving people roles and stuff like that, and just, you know, obviously trying to do things as well as I could, because I said puzzles are my thing and I really enjoy them. And for the most part, it went pretty smoothly. But we came across this one puzzle, and it was obvious what we had to do. We just couldn't do it because it was quite finicky. And in the end, the lady watching us was like, "Do you want a clue?" And we're like, "No clues," because we decided at the start we didn't want any clues, right? But she goes, "Oh, it's not really a clue. You're doing it right. You're just not doing it in the way you're meant to do it." So we're like, "Oh, fine, just tell us then." And then after that little hiccup, we carried on. But we wasted a lot of time on that puzzle, and in particular the very first room that we were locked in. That was a really simple puzzle, and we were kicking ourselves afterwards how much time we wasted on that just to escape that first bit. So simple. I managed to figure it out, by the way. Afterwards, there were no real struggles. We knew what we had to do. We just had to do it quickly. And believe it or not, the time really flew by. Like, we had an hour and it was ticking, and she was giving us like a running commentary. You got 10 minutes left, you got 5 minutes left, and we were starting to panic because we wanted to get it done. We knew we were close, so we were just trying to rush through the puzzles. Eventually we figured it all out, and we got the final piece, and we completed it. And the lady comes in, she goes, "You did it with 4 seconds to spare," and it was unreal. Like, we were just happy because we knew we could do it. We were under pressure because of the time constraint. We were annoyed because we'd wasted so much time on those 2 puzzles, which, to be fair, the first one was just silly. We could have done that one with like a couple of minutes, but we didn't because for whatever reason we just couldn't figure it out. And then that finicky puzzle. Now, I don't want to go into too much detail about these puzzles because obviously I don't know whether you might end up doing it yourself in the future, and if that's the case, then I don't want to spoil it for you. So I've just left everything as vague as possible. But the summary is, as I said, we managed to beat it with 4 seconds to go. Unfortunately, we lost out to the other team because they finished it with a couple of minutes to spare. But I believe they took 2 clues. So the first clue was the same finicky puzzle that we had. However, they had it in more detail. And then they had another separate clue as well because they were stuck in a certain room. So, I mean, okay, they completed it first, but they took a couple of clues. Whereas we didn't, and we still beat the clock, so just saying. But anyway, it was fun. It was a fun experience all around. A couple of fun facts that the lady told us after we'd finished the challenge. Most people that go into the room do ask for clues. Now, the average clue ask is about 2 to 3. About 30 to 40%, I believe, don't finish within the hour. So our group was pretty pleased with ourselves. I mean, we completed the room in under time, and we didn't really ask for any clues either, so that was just nice. But it was just a fun experience, as I said. I recommend trying it if you haven't already done so. Go with a group of friends or something, but you don't want to be too big a group because you don't want people shouting over each other. I think something between 2 to 4 is probably about enough. Anything more than that might be a bit chaotic. Obviously, the setup of the puzzles might not even allow for that many people anyway. Right, so the gameplay has long finished, and I better wrap up this gameplay commentary. As I said, we did go out for a meal after, but I'll talk about that meal in next week's video because I do want to talk about the restaurant we went to. It was, well, I'll leave it for next week's video. So yeah, that'll do it for today's video. If you enjoyed the content, do consider tapping the like button. I really do appreciate it. And as always, if you've got any thoughts you'd like to share me regarding anything I've talked about today or anything you've seen in the gameplay, let me know in the comment section below. But until next time, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, take care, and I will see you later.